Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
6:36 here on O'Connor and Company. It's a mornings. It's mornings. Oh, Angela, you see how things are? It's America's morning show was what I was trying to say, and we're thrilled to start your morning together with you. Coming up at 7:05, Asra Nomani is going to join us at 7:35. James Rosen of Newsmax, who covers the White House, and at 8:05, Cassandra Happy, Wallet Hub analyst, who's been peeling away the veneer of those Black Friday sales, and it turns out some of them aren't really sales at all. We'll give you those details coming up. Angela Morabito, thank you so much for joining us this morning, this holiday week.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with you.
And well, if you think Thanksgiving week, if you think the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, you probably think travel. As well you should. Natalie Compton joins us now as the travel reporter from the Washington Post. And I guess today, it used to be Wednesday was the big day, but is it now? Is today the bigger day, Natalie, for air travel and for people getting out of town?
Wednesday is really still supposed to be one of the busiest days, but Tuesdays, it's going to be a bad day.
It's going to be bad. Yeah, and we're hearing about this rain. Not only might the rain start some delays at the airport, but it's also going to make driving a problem, so give yourself plenty of time wherever you're going. Natalie, your recent column, though, I think is incredibly helpful because it's Thanksgiving, so people think food. And a lot of people, I didn't realize this, but some people make their own casseroles at home and then bring it to Grandma's house on the plane. TSA ain't thrilled about that sort of thing, are they?
You know what's funny is when I first wrote this story, I was thinking, who is really traveling with Thanksgiving foods? But I've seen a series of tweets about people who are expected to fly to their families Thanksgiving. They don't think they're going to have access to a kitchen long enough, so they have to bring things like stuffing or pie or whatever on a plane. So this does happen, and people are frustrated about it with their families. TSA is frustrated about it if you bring it in the wrong size. So we did put together this guide to know what you need to put in your check bag and what you need to carry on.
Can you give us a thumbnail on that? Because, I mean, I'm not allowed to bring more than 4 ounces of water through TSA on my carry-on. So how are people bringing pumpkin pies?
So TSA has this kind of uncomfortable, kind of helpful catchphrase that they always use. If you can spray it, spread it, pump it, or pour it, it should go in your checked bag. So that little water amount, that is what they're talking about. That's something that you can pour. When you think about pie, because it has a hard crust, that does not count as a liquid. So you can bring a whole pie. You can bring 10 pies if you could carry them. That's no problem. Wow. When you come down to things like cheese, that's when you enter this new frontier of confusing where if it's a hard cheese, like a cheddar, bring it on board, you're totally fine. But if you have something creamy and delicious like a brie for a charcuterie board, you're going to have to bring that in just that small liquid rule amount for, less than 3.4 ounces of your creamy cheese. I think what isn't necessarily a Thanksgiving food, but what trips people up and we see it get thrown out all the time is peanut butter. So if you're traveling and you're like, I got to bring all my peanut butter, make sure it's in that 3.4 ounces or less, because in this universe, peanut butter is liquid.
Natalie, I was one of the people you're just describing. Years ago, I was going through Reagan National and had a little mini jar of Nutella, which I was very excited to eat, and had my dreams dashed by the TSA who said, nope, it's spreadable, it's a liquid. So I appreciate your warning. And my question is really for those people who are making the giant casseroles or making something fabulous for Thanksgiving and trying to get it on a plane. After you get through TSA, you still have to either stash it in an overhead compartment, maybe under the seat in front of you. What advice would you give to someone who is hoping that the dish they worked really hard on arrives intact?
Sturdy lid. I cannot think of a worse disaster than having some turbulence and you have some flimsy saran wrap on top. That's not going to cut it for a holiday travel with your precious casserole. So get a Pyrex strong, sturdy lid for that kind of thing. You don't want anything that's going to slosh into your bag. and taint all your beautiful holiday clothes. That sounds like a nightmare. If you are confused on what is or isn't allowed and you want to make sure that you're not getting that thrown away, TSA website has a what can I bring section, so you can double check. And then if you are concerned about something that needs to stay at a particular temperature, obviously planes are freezing and your toes are going to go numb by the end of the flight, but you could also bring one of those kind of fridge bags that you could zip up, and that would contain your food a little better too.
Or you could just drive. But that definitely covers everybody bringing their pumpkin pies onto the planes. What about drivers? I'm told that Wednesday, despite the fact that we've got some rain rolling in today, Wednesday is still going to be the worst day to drive, right? If you're hitting the road, isn't today the day to do it?
Today's the day to do it, and I think tuning into a radio station and keeping track of how the traffic is going is a really smart idea. But they are saying that tomorrow, the earlier the better. Even today, the earlier the better, or then after 6 p.m. waiting until the night and doing a night shift situation would be much better. We're expecting just crazy traffic, and like you said, there's weather coming. There's going to be the people who are doing last-minute scrambles. The only fortunate thing is that because of things like remote work or people having a little more flexibility, we have seen that people have head out for their holiday travels already, and some of the chunks of people have already left. Friday was a huge day for flying and travel. So is it going to be bad? Yes. It will still be bad, and you should still leave as early or as late as possible. And even driving on Thanksgiving can be a better hack if you didn't mind getting there a little later.
And I'm looking at the latest travel column at the Washington Post, and apparently if you're flying, you've already waited too long. Today and tomorrow are bad days to fly. In some cases, Thursday morning is actually a better option, isn't it? Take a really early flight Thursday morning.
Honestly, if you don't need to guarantee being at your Thanksgiving meal, or you know that your family's understanding if you ended up getting delayed or didn't mind being there and getting there to hang out the rest of the weekend with your family, traveling on the holiday is your best bet, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's always a quieter day because everyone's trying to get there in advance. So if you don't mind getting there day of, you just have to be able to accept the fact that flight delays can thwart your plans, or you could have a cancellation that you have to scramble to figure out. But even driving, it's going to be quieter. So
and you're going to stress out Grandma if you do that. So just leave early. But the best advice of all this, Natalie Compton, Washington Post travel reporter, is listen to the radio the entire time so you can be updated. We love that. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate you joining us.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.